32.19. Okay. Okay. So today's class, the topic would be transformer, let's say efficiency. Okay, so calculating what is the efficiency of the transformer. Okay, basically solving the circuit of a transformer. Okay. So let me write down the question in that sense. So by the way, I'll just improve the lighting. Okay, the question is like this: the data given. So it is a one-phase transformer, and the turns ratio 20:1. Okay, so which means there are 20 turns in the primary side and 1 turn in the secondary side. Not exactly 20 and 1 in that ratio. Okay, so right away you can say what is K? K will be N2 by N1. So in that case it will be 1 by 20. Okay, so just a constant that we are defining. What else? You have R1 X1 and then R2 X2. Okay, so this is also given data, which is 25 ohms and X1 is 100 ohms, and then R2 is 0.06 ohms and 0.25 ohms. Okay, so this is the parameters given to you. By the way, how do you calculate these parameters? There are also some tests for that, transformer tests, that we will see later part of today's lecture. So after this, open circuit test, short circuit test and all that. Okay, so this is also given information. Also I naught. Okay, what is I naught? This was the notation we were using for no load current of the transformer taken at the primary side. Okay, and the value given is 1.25 amperes. Okay, and then written here is leading flux by 30 degrees. Okay, let me write it here. Okay, this is another confusing way of writing it. Leading flux by 30 degrees. Actually, it is lagging the no load current, lagging the voltage by 60 degrees. So it is one of the same ways. Just don't get confused with that. Okay, now I2. Okay, now at a particular time instant, there is some current flowing in the secondary, which is 200 amperes at 0.8 power factor lagging. Okay, and V2, and V2 is the terminal voltage. It is 500 volts. Okay, so the angle etc. is not given. The magnitude RMS value of the secondary voltage is 500 volts. Okay, so this is what is the complete given data. Based on this data, you will have to work out what do you have to find out. So that also let me write it down. What we have to find out is V1 primary voltage. Okay, and cos of phi1. Okay, so what is cos of phi1? Power factor of the primary side. Okay, that's what you have to. Power factor of the secondary side we know, 0.8 power factor lagging. Okay, right away we can tell that power factor of the primary will be slightly lesser than the power factor of secondary. I am expecting something like 0.7 something. Okay, this is 0.8, so it will be slightly less than 0.8. Okay, and what is the reason? Because there is some inductance in the transformer itself, and there is some reactive power losses in the transformer. Because of that, the power factor of the primary will be will be poor. So that's about that. What else we need to find out? Efficiency of the transformer. So that is a symbol for efficiency. So efficiency is output by input. So if I input 100 watts, how many watts is coming at the output? Okay, it's a percentage efficiency. And I am also, so of course you have to find out the iron and copper losses. finding out losses is also part of finding out the efficiency. So this is what we have to find out. So I'll put a question mark here just to indicate that this is what we have to find out for the transformer. Okay? And I also already explained what is the general process for finding it out. Okay? So it helps you if you simply draw the equivalent circuit. So you have, basically it's a circuits problem, you will realize. So this is V1. Then there is, what do we have? R1, X1, so which is 25 plus J100. Okay, so this is given, 25 J100, I am writing it there. Okay. Then I have I0. Okay. So I0 value was right away given, so I don't have to worry about these two parameters. So I'll just simply write R0 and X0, but I0 is given. Okay, 1.25 leading flux by 30 degrees. Okay, so 1.25 I'll write it, and this part I'll not write it right away. We'll see what is the reference. Based on that I'll write it. What else you have? Then right away I have the E1. Okay, so voltage here is E1, and then this is like the ideal transformer E2. Okay, so EMF induced in the primary, secondary. This is 20:1. Okay, then on the secondary side I have 0.06 plus J 0.25. Okay, this is the impedance, I have it here. Then there is a V2, and then there is some load. So the current is given is 200 amperes. Okay, given data. I am basically putting the given data into the diagram. This is I2, and the angle is, so because it is 0.8 power factor lagging and I know this quantity, just for the time being I assume that V2 is the reference. Okay, so V2 voltage, this is the reference voltage. So this is 500 volts, and this is ZL. Okay, some load is there. So this is minus 36.87. Okay, so how do I know the angle is minus 36.87? Because it's again a standard well-known quantity. 0.8 power factor means 36.87. Cos inverse of 0.8 comes to 36.87 degrees. That you should simply be knowing by doing many problems. Okay, so just look here. Based on this, can you calculate what is E2? I can calculate, because current is flowing in the impedance, there will be a drop here. Okay, so Z2 into I2, there will be some voltage drop. That drop, add it to 500, you will get E2. If you know E2, can you find what is E1? Yes, multiply by 20, you will find E1. Okay. Can you find I2 dash? So I2 dash is nothing but whatever I2 is there, using this, either you multiply by 20 or divide by 20 based on, I think in this case you have to multiply by 20 or divide. Okay, high voltage means current will be low, so you have to divide by 20. Okay, so it will be like 200 divided by 20, so it will be 10 amperes, something like that here. Now you know I2 and you know I0, and if you take E1 as a reference, then I can give the angle here as minus 60 or something, and then based on that I can add these two currents. I will know I1, then I can find out the drop here, I1 flowing in this, then that one I should add to E1, then I will get V1. Okay, so that is the process. A lot of calculation work is there with the complex numbers, so I will ask you to help me out because I am not having any calculator in my hands today. So let's begin then. Okay, so what is I2 Z2? So here I can 200 angle minus 36.87. So this is I2 Z2, drop in the secondary. Okay, multiplied by this one, 0.06 plus J 0.25. Okay, so can someone help me out with this? See, you can also write it. See, cos is 0.8. So 0.8 into 200 will be 160. Okay. And if the cos is 0.8, sine will be 0.6. That also you should know. So if cos of a certain angle is 0.8, sine will be 0.6, because cos square plus sine square should be 1. Okay. So 0.6 into 200 will be minus 120. So minus J 120. And why I put minus is because it is lagging power factor. So basically this quantity current I converted in rectangular form. So this one multiplied by 0.06 plus J 0.25. Okay. So I am giving two complex numbers. I am asking you to find the multiplication of that. Okay. So can someone help me out with this? The answer can also be in rectangular form. How much? Okay, 51.4. And what is the imaginary part? 40.7. Okay, looks correct. So is it plus or minus? Plus 40.7. See, why will the voltage drop have a positive imaginary part? Because it's a voltage drop in R and L. The current should be lagging to that, so therefore the angle should be positive. And you can also see J into J is, this 120 into 0.06 and then 160 into that one. So based on that also you will know. Okay. Okay. Correction there. 39.6 plus J 40.7, and then you are saying this will have magnitude of 50.4. It will have some angle. Right now don't worry about that angle. If you know that angle, tell me, I'll write it down. But this is the value. Okay. So this much voltage is dropping here. Okay, let me write down that. I2 Z2. Okay, 39.6 plus J 40.7. So what is E2? This is 500 plus J0. This one. So simply add 539.6 and 40 J7. So right away I'll get E2 is V2 plus I2 Z2. It will be 5. I'm just writing 500 plus this. 539.6 plus J 40.7. So this quantity I want you to convert to polar form. How much is that? $539.6 plus J 40.7. Converting this rectangular quantity into polar quantity. 541. 541. 4.3 degrees. Is that correct? Is that confirmed? Okay, I am just going by what you are saying. Hopefully whatever calculation I am also doing is correct. So we will go with it. Now what is E1 then? So E1 is step up voltage. So it has to be multiplied by 20 times. Okay. 541 multiplied by 20 times. How much you will get it? So E1 is nothing but KE2 or E2 by K. So basically how much is that? 1082. Is that correct? Double of 500 is 1000, double of 41 is 82. What 0? 1082. Oh, okay, 20. I just doubled it. So 20, because the ratio is 1:20. Okay. Now the interesting question is, what angle will you keep here? So we had taken V2 as reference. with reference to V2, E2 I am getting plus 4.3 degrees. So what is the angle you take here? This is very important conceptual point. Okay. What? Minus 4.3 is not actually the correct one. You have to rotate it by 180 degrees. Okay. So either add 180 to 4.3, so it is 184.3 degrees, or you subtract 180, so it will be something like a minus, something like that, technically speaking. Just to avoid the confusion, just let's get a visual feel of what it is. Okay. So I'll remove this part and then draw the this thing. So we have utilized up to here this information. So see here what is happening. So this is V2, 500, okay, and that is the reference, 0 degrees, okay. What is I2? I2 equal to 200 amperes and the angle of 36.87 minus, okay, so it is minus 36.87, 200 amperes. Okay. What will be I2 R2? I2 into R2 will be the drop here, that will be in phase with I2. Okay. So just to add to V2, I'll draw like this. So these two are parallel. Okay. And of course this is in amperes and this is in volts, so the scale is different. But just see that this is length is 500 and this is I2 R2. Okay. And it will have some angle. Okay. See what is I2 R2? See 0.06 multiplied by 200. So 12 volts actually. You can actually tell that by multiplying this it is 12 volts. So the length of this is 12 units, whereas this is 500 units. So again it's not to scale, but and what is, so I have to do vector addition, right? V2 plus I2 R2. What is another vector? I2 Z2, I2 X2, sorry. So I2 X2 is what? 0.25 multiplied by 200, I think it will be 50, 25% of 200, 50, okay, and that will have an angle 90 degrees with this, okay, and that will have this, so this length is I2 X2, so this is actually 50 and this is actually 12 and angle is minus 36.87, this will be minus 36.87 plus 90, just I am writing without cal, it's not required also. Now if you join the, so V2 plus I2 R2 plus I2 X2, so this quantity will be I2 Z2, okay, and then V2 plus I2 Z2 will be total E2, okay, and this angle, how much this angle will be? So we calculated that 4.3 degrees, okay, try to get the feel of that. So this angle will be 4.3 degrees, okay. So E2 is leading V2 by 4.3 degrees, okay. Now where will your E1 will be? So you can argue it will be in phase with E2 or it will be exactly opposite to E2. So I just draw a plus sign here. I can get the E2 exactly this side, opposite to that. So this will be my, sorry, E1, okay. E1 I calculated this one, right? So because of place is not, it should be actually 20 times bigger. I'm just approximately showing the direction. And what about I2 dash? The angle for this I2 dash. Okay. So again reverse the I2. So you will get this side I2 dash. Okay. So to avoid all this confusion, what I can do is I can draw a fresh reference now. I draw a second this thing. I will take now some angle will be there here. I just put a question mark. Okay. I just change now reference as E1. Okay. Let E1 be reference. Because I am interested only in V1 magnitude and then angle this one. So if I change that reference as E1, okay, then it will make your life easier. So I now I'll write it 10820, 0 degrees. Okay. Just to, earlier for this side V2 was a reference, now E1 becomes a reference. Okay. So what will be the diagram? So I'll just once again In fact, I can now take out all this part. We have utilized all this information. So we have to solve this part of the circuit now. So this is E1. And what is angle? E1 magnitude is 10820 and angle is 0 degrees. Okay. What will be I2 dash in this? So look here, I2 dash is opposite side. So this one I already know 4.3 degrees, this angle, and this angle I know it is 36.87 degrees. So this total angle will be this one, and then E1 is leading, I1 is lagging. Okay, so based on that, I can put I1 somewhere here, not I1, I2 dash. Okay, and what will be the angle for that? It will have some magnitude, and the angle will be 36.87 and then 4.3. Okay, so 41.17. Okay, 41.17 degrees. Okay, and this will have a minus sign. So by the way, if you look at the textbook, how they solve it, they don't do all this kind of thing. So this is the more intuitive way of solving the problem. Okay, see, for calculators and all these things, for writing it as a program and all, you don't have to change this. You just keep whatever angle comes, you keep solving. But just this is my what you call innovation to. Of course, you get the same answer, but just to make it more simple to understand. So this will be that 41.17 degrees. Okay. Now what you have to do? You have to add this to find out I1. Okay. So let's do that. Okay. What is this one? And now here saying leading flux by 30 degrees. Okay. So where will be V1? So this will be actually flux. Okay, remember when we are discussing ideal transformer, I said we apply V1 voltage. Because of that, there will be some current flowing. Because of that, there will be some flux, and because of that flux, both EMS will be induced and all these things. But I am taking E1 on the other side, so all that things. Okay, so basically what happens is I2 dash will be like this, and then I0 will be more lagging. Okay, something like that. Okay, so based on that, I can draw I0, and this angle will be 60 degrees. This total angle, because it is given leading flux by 30 degrees. Okay, so what is the magnitude? 1.25, and the angle is minus 60 degrees. Okay, and what is the magnitude of I2 dash? I2 divided by the 20, that ratio. Okay, so the ratio is 20:1. Okay, so this I2 dash will be 10. Okay, and the angle I already wrote here, minus 41.17. Okay, so basically now I have to add these two to get I1. Okay, so what is I1? So I2 dash plus I0, which is nothing but 10 angle minus 41.17 degrees plus 1.25 angle minus 60 degrees. Okay, so overall it has come down to this, just to find out what is I1. Okay, now can you ignore I0? It looks like this is 10 amperes and this is 1.2 amperes, almost significant value. So if you ignore this, the error will be more, so we will not ignore. Okay, so can someone now do this? Addition of two polar numbers. So the result will be somewhere like this. This is the most confusing part of the problem. So 10 at an angle of minus 41.17, 1.25 at an angle of minus 60. So you all know how to do this addition of two polar numbers. Okay, by the time you calculate, let me tell the manual way. So what you have to do is 10 cos minus 41.17. This is the real part. 1.25 cos minus 60 degrees. This is another real part. These two you add, you will get some quantity. Then 10 sine minus 41.17 is the imaginary component. 1.25 sine minus 60 degrees. Okay, so there will be j, and here the sign will be anyway minus because the sign of minus is there. So then you add all that, then you will get a real part and the imaginary part, and then from that again you can convert back to polar form. You will get a magnitude and angle. Okay. So that anyway, all this, the calculators are there, they can calculate directly. So what is it? Okay, 8.145 minus j 7.66. Okay, so now you convert back into polar form. How much will it be? 11.18, 43.34 degrees, and of course there will be a minus sign for the angle. Okay, so therefore this angle will be, see, this will be in between these two. If I add two vectors, then the resultant vector will be middle of, not exactly in the middle, but it will be between those two. So I'll write it here now. So I1 equal to 11.18 and the angle is minus 43.34. I hope it is correct. So this is in amperes. With that assumption, we'll move forward. What is the next step? Now it is very easy. So this current I1 flowing through 25 amperes, flowing through 100. So there will be that much of voltage drops here. Okay. So I can directly do this. So I1 Z1, voltage drop in the primary. Okay, that is what? 8.145 minus j 7.66 into 25 plus j 100. How much is this? So multiplication of two rectangular numbers. Again, you will have to depend on the calculator. Okay. $1049. Okay, 1425. Okay, point we'll ignore. 32.6 degrees, sir. Okay, another answer 1152. 32.7. This one is wrong. Okay, so whatever. So now I got this. Actually, this is what? This is I2, I1 into Z1. Again, look at the, intuitively you look at the diagram here. So this part will be I1 R1. parallel to I1, there will be I1 R1 drop added to E1. Okay, because E1 plus this drop will be your V1. Okay, how much will be approximately? See, the magnitude is 11.18, 11.18 multiplied by 25. Okay, so it will be something like how much? 25. So 250, 25. So I'm just approximately guessing it will be somewhere around 300. Okay, approximately 300. 279. Okay, 279. Now I1 X1, sorry, I1 X1 will be 90 degrees leading that, something like this. Okay. So this plus this, only this part is what? Only addition of this plus this. That we just calculated. 1152 angle 32.1.7 degrees. Looks correct. So 1152 angle 32.7. Now what is the next job? To find out this total V1. So V1 will be E1 plus this drop. Okay. So I'll write that here. V1. So 1152 32.7 degrees. Okay. So what is V1? E1 plus I1 Z1. That is 10820 plus J0 into 1152 angle 32.7 degrees. Okay. So what is V1? What is plus? Yeah, plus. Okay. 11805. Okay, we'll ignore 83. 806. Angle is C.3.02. So we'll make it 3 degrees. Okay, again it is expected slightly leading. So this is 3 degrees only. So overall, actually, you should now attach this diagram, that diagram together. Then it will become the overall diagram of the transformer. But anyway, this is how we solve the problem. Okay. So what is phi 1? I think I have used this information also. So I am getting V1 equal to 11806 angle 3 degrees, I1 equal to 11.18 angle minus 43.34 degrees. Okay. In fact, we'll ignore this 43 degrees. Okay. So this is in volts, this is in amperes. Okay. What is phi 1? Phi 1 is the angle between V1 and I1. Okay. One is plus and the other is minus. So total angle will be 46 degrees. Because the relative angle between these two. In fact, you can see that here. This total angle. So this is plus 3 and this is minus, what is that? 43. So it will total will be 46 point, something like that. Okay. So what is cos of phi 1? 46 degrees. So cos 45 you know is 1 by root 2, 0.707. Okay, this will be less than 0.707 because angle is slightly more. How much is this? Cos of 46 degrees? .694. Okay, lag. Okay. Now the secondary side power factor was 0.8. The primary side power factor is poorer. I expected 0.7 something, but I got 0.64, 694 something. So it is fine. Okay. So this one is solved. This one is solved. Okay. Now before calculating efficiency, let's find out iron and copper losses. Okay. How do you find iron losses? How do you find? See, the V1 magnitude, as long as I find the magnitude of V1, that is enough. Okay, so the angle part is actually for our internal calculation. But finally, when you tell, so now if I want to make V1 as a reference, then I shift all the angles by 3 degrees or something like that. So which one is the reference is up to you for your calculation. So the final, you can say the magnitude, that is sufficient. Okay. By the way, we'll do that in the end. Let's continue. How do you find the iron losses? How do you find the copper losses? How do you find the iron losses? The iron losses are nothing but what is getting lost here. Loss in this one. Okay, so you need to find out how much current is flowing in this one. Okay, so and you already know the 60 degrees angle, you know. Okay, the 60 degrees angle for I naught, you know. Okay, find out that current which is in phase with which one? See. No, to indicate losses I am using resistance. What is X naught is, it's the reactive power. So like that. See, this voltage is also even, if you notice. The same voltage is also coming here. Okay. So V square by R will be the power. Okay, so voltage square divided by R. Okay, but R value I don't know. But then I know the current. Okay, so E1 into I naught into cos of angle between E1 and I naught. Okay, what is the angle between E1 and I naught? 60 degrees. Okay, so I can do that. So I'll write it here now. Okay, I'll use again this place. In fact, now I can erase everything. Iron loss. In this case, I am calculating E1 into I naught into cos of phi naught. This is actually the angle between E1 and I naught. Okay. So strictly speaking, iron loss will be V1 into I naught into cos phi naught. But instead of V1, I am using E1 because I have that information. Okay. So like that. So what is that? 10820 into I naught is 1.25 amperes. Okay, 1.25 amperes into cos of 60 degrees. Okay, cos 60 is 0.5 or okay. So what is that then? 720 watts. Is that correct? Or should be 7,200. See, this is 10,000, right? 10,820. 10,820 into 1.25 into cos 60. How much? 6762.5. So I'll just write 6762 watts. Okay, this is iron loss. Okay, let's say P iron. What is copper loss? So see, you have everything. Simply copper loss is nothing but P copper, nothing but I2 square R2 plus I1 square R1. As simple as that. Because you have all these quantities. Okay, and you don't worry about the angles also because it's just a because of the square the angle will also not matter. So what is that? So 200 square into 0.06. Okay, plus what is I1? We got 11.18 square into 25. Okay, this is my copper loss. So how much is that? How much? 24.8. So I'll write it 5525 watts. Okay. So now what is the output and what is the input? Let's do that. Okay, how do you get the P output? Nothing but P2, power in the output to the secondary. Okay, see, I know V2. Okay, V2 I2 cos phi 2, right? This is the output power, terminal voltage into terminal current into power factor of the load. This thing already given to us. Okay, so 500 multiplied by 200, so it's already given. At the output terminals I have 500 volts, 200 amperes and 0.8. So how much is this? 5 into 2 is 10, 100,000 into 0.8. So 80,000. That's actually 80 kilowatts or 80,000 watts if my calculation is correct. Yeah. Okay. So now I can calculate what is the efficiency. Okay. So how do I find the efficiency? Let me do here. Efficiency is output by input. Okay, or I can write output plus losses. Okay, so output is 80 kilowatts. Okay, I am doing it in now kilowatts. Okay, divided by 80 kilowatts plus 6.762 plus 5.525. Okay, so this is in kilowatts and kilowatts. So what is this denominator, and then how much is the efficiency? Okay, or you can say 86.6%. Okay, that's my efficiency. So typically efficiency should be 95%, but looks like, because of the constants chosen for this problem, it is coming less. But I hope the calculations are correct. So it is 86.6%. Any typical transformer you will find definitely above 90% efficiency, 95. And even if you go to very, very large transformers, they even touch 98, 99% also. Very efficient. It's all designing with proper this thing. So, but anyway, for our problem, we got this answer. Okay. So that is about efficiency. Okay. Now, just to make sure that everything is correct, how do you verify this? Can you see the input? I know now. Okay, input is 80 plus this. This is one way of telling what is the input. Can you tell the input in another way? How much is the power input into the transformer? So I know V1, I know I1, and I know the angle between them. So I can also calculate input in a different way. Okay. So how do I calculate input? Input is nothing but V1 I1 cos phi 1. Okay. So V1 I know. How much is V1? 11806. Okay, this is V1. What is I1? 11.18. And what is cos phi 1? Cos of 46. Okay, 0.694. We just calculated that. Okay, so the product of these three numbers should, some input powers will be coming here. How much is that? How much? 91.6 kilowatts. Okay. How much is this denominator? How much you are getting? 92.28 kilowatts. Okay. So they are not exactly matching. There is some error. So that is because of our rounding off. At every place we had rounded off all the angles and everything. So one thing you can try out is, do the whole problem without neglecting the decimal points. So maybe you try it out in a computer, write a small program to do all these multiplications, and then just verify whether this number and this number are matching. They have to be exactly matching. Okay. I think it's about less than 1 kilowatt, right? If I add 1 here, it will become 92.6. That is 92.3. So the error is less than 1%. But then even that 1% should not come if you do with the proper decimal places and all these things. Okay. So to summarize, let me draw another simpler diagram. Think of a transformer as a box. Okay, this is a box. Okay, and the input is 11806 volts, and the angle and the current is 11.18, and the phase angle like cos phi is 0.694. Okay, so if I multiply all these things, I will get this 91.6 kilowatts. So something like this. So out of that, some is iron loss, some is copper loss, and the remaining is output. Okay, the iron loss part is 6.76 kilowatt here. Copper loss part is 5.525 kilowatt, and then the output should be 80 kilowatt. Okay, going by this thing. And what's coming on the output side? So this is load. So V2 is 500 only, and this is 200, and then 0.8 power factor. Okay. So now you just look at the ratio. See, actually the ratio is 20:1. But if I multiply 20 into 500, I should be applying only 10,000 volts. But I am applying 11,806 volts. I am actually applying more voltage. Okay, in order to account for the voltage drops and everything. So although the manufacturer says that although the turns ratio is 20:1, the ratio I should apply will be slightly more. Okay, so how will you decide? If I think that it is 20:1 and apply 10,000 volts here, I won't get 500 volts at the output. And in order to get 500 volts at the output, I am supposed to apply more than 10,000. So all this issue is there because of the non-ideal and a practical transformer. See, I have only drawn the kilowatts. You can also write a similar picture for what happens to the reactive power. Okay. How much reactive power is entering into the transformer, and how much reactive power is leaving the transformer? Can you tell that? Let's draw another figure. It's the same box. So reactive power. How do you know how much reactive power is entering? So you will do V1 I1 sine of phi 1. That will be your reactive power entering into the box. Okay. How much reactive power is leaving? V1 I1 sine of V2 I2 sine of phi 2. And this I know. How do I know? V2 is 500, I2 is 200, and sine will be, if the cos is 0.8, sine will be 0.6. Okay. So this will be like 60 kVAR, that is a unit, kilovolt ampere reactive. Okay, 60 kVAR will be the output. Okay, and how much will be this losses? This will be I naught x naught, I naught square x, I mu square x naught, something like that. But we don't have these two values. So what's the other way of telling it? So again, remember, it will be E1 I naught sine phi naught. If you do this, you know E1, you know I naught, and you know sine phi naught. So what is sine of 60 degrees? Okay, root 3 by 2. And what is this one? 1.25 given in this one. E1 we calculated. How much was it? 10860 or 820. Is that the one? Yeah. So this is just again a simple calculation. This will tell how much is the reactive power loss. How much is that? We'll just verify quickly since we have almost spent 1 hour on this. So what is this quantity? 10820 into 1.25 into root 3 by 2. 11713. Okay, that means 11.713 kVAR. Okay, 11.7 kVAR. Okay, output is 60 kVAR and whatever is consumed is 11.7 kVAR. Oh, by the way, I forgot. There is also the leakage reactance involved here. So even that there will be some reactive power losses. So we have to again take care of that quickly. So how much is that? What? Yes. So I2 square x2. How much is this? So again you know I2, 200 square. And what is x2? If I remember correctly, it is 25. How much is this? 200 square is 40,000 and 25% of 40,000 is 10,000. So 10 kVAR. So I'll write it 10 kVAR. Okay. And what is I1 square x1? 11.18 square into 100. Okay, x1 was 100. So 11.18 square is how much? 12.5. So 12.5 kVAR. Okay. So these three are my reactive power. So where the reactive power is going in the transformer. So who is responsible for giving all this reactive power? The primary side. Okay, let's calculate. So 11.7 plus 10, 21.7 plus 12, 31, 33, 34.2. Okay, the total will be, reactive power losses will be 34.2 kVAR. Okay, so 60 plus 34.2 will be how much? 94.2 kVAR is the, so how much was the active power? 91.6 kilowatt was the active power input. So you see it's almost equal amount of, in fact more amount of reactive power has flowed in the primary side, which is, how do you verify that? How do you verify that figure 94.2? So simply do V1 I1 sin phi 1. Okay, let's do that. V1 I1 sin of phi 1. This will be Q1. Okay. What is that? So V1 is 11806, I1 is 11.18, and then sine of 41 degrees or 46 degrees. Sine of 46 degrees. How much? 100.3. Is that correct? So again there is some problem. This 100.3 should be exactly equal to 94.2. Somewhere there is this time looks like more. So again 94.8. So this is the correct answer. So this 94.8 matching to 94.2, again small error, that is also because of the rounding off. Okay. So this is how the reactive power scenario is going on. So basically you get an idea what the transformer is trying to do, taking some voltage and current at the primary side, giving a different voltage and current at the secondary side. Okay. So strictly speaking the ratio should be maintained, but it will not be maintained. So current should be actually only 10 amperes. But why slightly more current? Because if the ratio is 20, current should be only 10 amperes, slightly more, to account for the losses and everything. Okay. So I hope with this, we calculated we calculated efficiency also. I hope with this overall one problem on transformer, you got a idea about how it is working. Okay. Only thing I did not do in this problem is make a combined vector diagram which of course we can also do it, but then just we try to change the reference in between from E2. Okay, now we still have half an hour more. So now from this point, this is like the most detailed one. We'll try to do some engineering approximations and then try to simplify the whole problem. See, every time we can't spend this much time to solve one from starting to ending, or from ending to starting in our case. So let's try to simplify what we are trying to do. Okay, so how do we simplify? So I'll just let me. So I'm drawing this again and again. R2, X2, J plus this is E1, E2. So this will be R0, X0, R1, X1, V1. Okay, and the currents. This is I1, this is I0, this is I2 dash. Okay, so this is I2, and this is V2 voltage here. Okay, so this is the equivalent circuit of a transformer. Okay, now how do you simplify this? Okay, so in this case, this part is still assumed to be an ideal transformer. Okay, so now what you can do is one step of simplification. I can eliminate this ideal transformer and bring all these quantities to the primary side. Okay, that you already, last class we already did. Okay, transferring of R2 to the primary side. So if you remember, R2 dash is R2 divided by K square. Okay, so how it is K square is that you are trying to see it results in the same losses. Okay, so similarly X2 dash also I can bring it on to this side. Okay, so I'll draw the another circuit now. So this is V1, this is R1 X1, okay, and this one is same. I'll not label it. Now here R2 dash X2 dash. Okay, so mathematically R2 dash is R2 divided by K square, X2 divided by K square. Okay, now what do you call this voltage? E1. Okay, this will be E2 dash, which will be E2 by K. Okay, just now what we earlier what we had done. Okay, in the earlier problem we had done something very similar. Okay, you calculated E2 first and then like that. Okay, here I can also say V2 dash and then Z2 dash or ZL dash, L load. Okay, load also I can transfer. This will be ZL by K square. The same logic I can apply. Okay, now there is no transformer in between. Okay, so this is slightly more simpler to solve it. Okay, so in between this branch is there. So right now this will come directly here, strictly speaking. So now how between R1 and R2 there is this branch is there. So therefore these are not series addition. Okay, but still you can do that assumption now. See, this current is I2 dash, this current is I1, and this current is I0. Okay, now what is I0? Nothing but E1 divided by R0 is one part, and then E1 divided by X0 is another part, and then those two you do vector addition, you will get I naught. Okay. So all these things is depending on E1. Okay. But now since it is anyway, so this is the more detailed one, this is one step simplification. What is the next step of simplification? Simply shift this to the terminals. Assume, strictly speaking, it should be at the induced EMF, but assume that this total thing is at the starting, because I naught is anyway 1 to 3% of the total current. So that small percentage, it will not make any mathematical error if you consider I naught at the starting. Okay, so so it will be something like this. Now the next step. So this is V1. This is still I1. Still I1 is I naught plus I2 dash. We are not completely ignoring this. This current is still there. So two branches. Then here now I can take R1 and then I can take R2 dash. So these two will become in series. This is X1 and X2 dash. These two again will become in series. Okay. So there is no concept of E1 now. E1 is, don't worry about E1. Here you will have V2 dash. Okay. V2 dash is nothing but V2 by K. And then you have the ZL dash, which is nothing but ZL by K square. Load impedance transfer to primary side. Okay. So this is more simpler to solve it. Okay. So of course there is definitely going to be some error because of this shifting of this branch from here to the starting, but still we'll not worry about that. Now what is this voltage here? This voltage, that will be still V1 only, because there is no drop in between. Okay. So now only look at this part, V1 and then this drop and then V2 dash. So I'll get a simple thing like this. V1 equal to, the current is I2 dash multiplied by R01 plus JX01. So if you remember this notation, what is R01? The total resistance of the transformer considering both primary and secondary resistances. Okay. So R01 is nothing but R1 plus R2 dash. Okay. Secondary resistance transferred to primary added to the primary resistance. Something like that. So is nothing but plus V2 dash, which is nothing but V2 by K. Okay. So I'll just simply write V2 dash. Okay. Now if you look at this simple this thing, you can right away estimate the voltage drop approximately. Okay. So if you look at the vector diagram, think of V2 dash as your reference. Okay. V2 dash is my reference. Okay. Now what is I2 dash? It all depends on the load power factor. Depending on this load, whether the load is unity power factor, reactive power, active power, whatever, depending on that I will get I2 dash. Either it will be lagging V2 or leading V2 or whatever. Okay. See, you understand V2 and I2. Very easy. So just the dash is nothing but they are just transferred to the primary side. So don't be so confused. The voltage will be changing with the same factor, current will be changing. Of course, if voltage is increasing, current will be decreasing and so on. But their angle will remain same. So this is still phi 2. Okay. So what you do next? I2 dash multiplied by R01. It will be something like this. I2 dash R01 parallel to this, the same angle. And then I2 dash multiplied by X01 will be 90 degrees leading that. I2 dash X01. Okay. This will be I2 dash Z01. And then this total will be your V1. Okay. So V1 is nothing but this plus this. Okay. So how do you get the approximate value is? So just notice here, you just extend this and then draw a vertical line. Okay. So let's call this A, let's call this point B, and let's call this point C. Okay. So what is AB? nothing but I2 R01 into cos of this angle. Okay. This angle is phi 2, same angle as this one. Okay. So I2 dash R01 cos phi 2 will be nothing but AB. Okay. So if I do this, see plus V2 anyway is there. So V2 is anyway, V2 dash is anyway there. Okay, now I from O to A I came, that is this term. Okay, then what is this term? I2 dash R01 into cos phi 2. This is A to B. Okay, so V2 dash, this one, plus what is the other term? BC. So what is the other term? BC. So this is BC is nothing but this part, BC DE. Okay, BC is nothing but DE, and DE is nothing but this angle will be cos phi 2 phi 2. Okay, because it's all 90 degrees. Otherwise, you can see this is 90 degrees. This will be something like that. You calculate it, you will get this angle phi 2, opposite side, so sine it will be. So simply it will be I2 dash x naught 1 sine phi 2. Okay, so this one. Now there is another approximation again, mind you. See, this vector is having some angle. Okay, so if I actually draw a circle or if I draw an arc, that actually the length will be more than C, slightly more than C. There will be some 3 degrees or 4 degrees or something like that here. Because of that slight angle, if I, this is actually a vertical line, right? V1 vertical line meets at C. But actually I should not draw a vertical line. I should, to calculate length of V1, I should take a kind of an arc here. Okay, you are getting what I am saying? So the length of V1, if I draw an arc, it will be slightly more than C. Okay, but then this is approximate formula. So that because of that 4 degrees, 5 degrees and all, that particular small thing we are ignoring. Okay, I am assuming that OV1 is equal to OC. But actually OV1 will be slightly more than OC because of that 3-4 degrees angle. Okay, so that we are ignoring. Okay, what is cos of 3 degrees? So it will be 0.9 something something, 99 something something. So that factor we are ignoring. Okay, so this is the shortcut formula actually. Okay, so that's what is the topic that I wanted to tell. Approximate voltage drop is this one. So, oh, I'm sorry, I'll keep this here. Maybe I'll erase this. Now you see, we can quickly solve this thing. See, the first part of the class, we took almost 1 hour to calculate what is V1. Okay, so what was V1 in the initial part of this video? We calculated V1, just refer to that. What is V1? 11806. Okay, angle is 3 degrees. Okay, this is exact calculation. Okay, so now with this shortcut, let's try to do approximate calculation. Let's see how fast it is. Okay, so only problem is I have to find what is R01. R1 plus R2 dash, which is nothing but R1 was 25, remember. What is R2 dash? R2 by K square. And what was R2? 0.06, I think. Okay, so in the data of the previous problem, I'm just trying to apply that. Okay, divided by K square. Okay, so 1 by 20 square. Okay, so how much is this? So basically you multiply by 20 into 20 square. How much is this? 400 into 6, so 36. 36 plus 25. 4 into 6 is 24. 24 plus 25. 49. Okay. So this is R01. What is x01? 100 plus 0.25 into 20 square. This I think we will get accurate answer. So this will be 100 because 400 into 25 by 100, 100 is 200. Okay. So now you just look at this one. Okay. So V1 equal to V2 dash, that means 500 into 20. Okay. V2 dash. The dash means you have to again get the V2 to the primary side. So primary side is high voltage 20 times. So this will be 520. Okay. Plus I2 dash. What is I2 dash? So let me write V2 dash equal to V2 by K, which is 500 by 1 by 20, which is 10,000. I2 dash will be I2 into K, which will be 200 into 1 by 20, which is 10 amperes. Very easy. Okay. So 10,000 plus 10 amperes into 49 plus 10 amperes into 200. That's all. Oh, sign is also there. Sorry. See, cos phi 2 is 0.8 already given in the question. Okay. Into 0.8 plus 10 amperes into 200 into sin phi 2 will be 0.6. Okay. Because if it is 0.8, it will be 0.6. So now it is easy to calculate. Okay. How much is this? 490 into 0.8. 8972. 84. 32 plus 7, 392. Okay. And what is this one? So 1200. Okay. This is how much? 1592, right? Is that correct? Okay. So angle will be 0 degrees because we don't have that angle information. Okay. So according to the approximate formula, this is my answer. According to exact calculation, this is the answer. Okay. So compare these two. So there is slightly, and also notice this is slightly higher. 300 volts is higher than, not 300. Actually, this you can approximate to 92 means you can make it 600. Okay, and this is only 800. Okay, I am just approximating. So only 200 is, only that much error is there. But see, look at the calculation. This is only one time calculation. The calculation of R01, X01, one time you do it, that's all. Okay. So I think what we spent 1 hour to calculate all that, within 5 minutes we are able to calculate the almost accurate answer. Okay. So therefore remember this and remember this diagram. Okay. So I'll just quickly draw the diagram once again. V2, actually it is V2 dash, then I2 will be somewhere lagging. If the load is lagging, this is I2 dash, this angle will be phi 2, this will be I2 dash R01, this angle will be I2 dash X01, this will be I2 dash Z01, and then this will be V1. And assuming just worrying about this length, okay, so you can actually do this. So this part will be this into cos and this into sine. Okay, it's easy to see if you have this picture in mind. It is easy to write this without remembering this and anything. Okay. So what is the voltage drop? This part is the voltage drop. Okay. So we still have some time. I think we have solved the same problem, one in a very shortcut way and one in the long cut way. Also, just to verify, see, 11800, and if this angle is 3 degrees, so what will be the vertical component of this? If this is 3 degrees, this will be 11800 cos of 3 degrees. Okay. So should that be somewhere near to this 11783. Okay, it's still not matching to 600. It's actually very less. So, sorry, 11783 is what? Okay, this vertical component. This is supposed to be that value actually. So, but again, it's not that much error. Okay. Now the whole thing changes. Yeah. So now I'll make a thing. Load power factor, let's say, is unity. So, or that means power factor is 1. That means the load is purely resistance. Okay. Then what happens? So, we have V2. V2 dash will be also like this. Then I2 dash will be in phase of V2 dash. So, then this will be I2 dash R01 and this will be I2 dash X01 and this will be V1. Okay. So, let's take this as 0. Okay. So, it will be like this. Okay. Now, but still this formula holds, because if the power factor is unity, that means cos term will be 1, sin term will be 0, sin of 0 degrees will be 0, this whole term will be ignored, and then your V1 will be nothing but these two terms. So, these two terms. So, this is still okay. Okay. Now, the problem is load power factor is leading. If the load power factor is leading, what happens? V2 dash, I2 dash. I2 dash will be leading V2 dash. So, this drop will be I2 R01, I2 dash R01. This is the drop parallel to this. Okay. 90 degrees leading that will be I2 dash X01. Okay. Now, what is V1? This is V1. Okay. So, the problem is you take this length. So, this is A, this is B. Okay. And then take this length A, B, C, D, E. Okay. So, first you take V2, then AB will be this one, cos this is phi 2. So, this is still adding, but for the sine term you will be coming back. CD you have to subtract it. So, it will be OA plus AB minus CD. Okay. So, OA plus AB minus CD will be what is your V1's this thing. So, if you want to know what is V1, if you approximate V1 with OE, then to know OE, OA plus AB minus CD. Okay. So, this term will be minus. Okay. So, this approximate voltage drop, you have to be careful whether to use plus or minus. You will use minus in the case of leading power factor load, and you will use plus in the case of lagging power factor load. So, that's all. Just you know from this diagram itself. I think that's all. There is nothing more to add in this. Just take care that you use minus sign if it is a leading power factor load. So, this is important. So, now there is something called voltage regulation. Okay. So, this is nothing but it's a percentage value regulation percentage is equal to so it's something like this. Okay, let me explain. Okay. So take a transformer. This is a transformer. So let me draw the so this is E1, E2, V2. Now there is no load. At that time, what is the voltage? Let's say the voltage is 1000 volts. Even the load is variable. Okay. So now, if I close this switch, then the load is connected and gradually increase the load. 0 amperes, 10 amperes, 20 amperes, 30 amperes. Gradually, I'll keep increasing the load. Okay. So then what happens? Yeah, we'll finish in 2 minutes. So what will happen to the voltage at full load? Let's say it will drop, right? If I fix this side, this 1000 will be keep on reducing. Okay. So this will be, let's say under full load condition, the voltage is only 900 volts. Okay. See, I am not fixing the secondary, I am fixing the primary voltage. I start loading the transformer, the secondary voltage will keep on falling. Okay. So in that case, this percentage of drop, so 1000 minus 900 divided by 1000. So this will be 100 by 1000, so it will be 10%. So that means the voltage, secondary voltage will vary by 10% when the load changes from no load to full load. Okay. So therefore for best transformer the regulation should be 0. That means the voltage is not varying. It's a very good transformer. But practical transformers will be there. Anyway, don't worry about that now. How do you calculate this drop is nothing but this one. So in the next class we'll see. I think next class will be on Thursday, right? So we'll see that in the next class. Something about voltage regulation and some transformer test.